In this video, I'll show you how to force your customers to create an account on your WooCommerce checkout page in just a few simple steps. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Throughout this video, I'm going to show you how to create a similar setup. So the first step is the customer needs to actually enter in their email address. And what the system will do, it will automatically check to see if the email address exists. And if it does, then it will show a login field below. And then if it doesn't, it will automatically register that user. So there's a few benefits towards this, right? So one, you're able to capture the email address in case of cart abandonment. So you can go ahead and follow up with that particular customer. Two, it reduces the number of steps the customer actually needs to take to actually create an account, okay? So let's go ahead and test this out. So we're just entering an email address here. Okay, agree to the terms and condition, and it will automatically create an account for us. Okay, so the password detail has been sent to our account, and we can just go ahead and continue to complete our purchase. And I'll just split this up into a multi-step checkout. If you wanted, you can just display everything on one single page. Okay, so if you want to create a similar setup to this on your WooCommerce store, then the first step is to head over to aovup.com. Go ahead and download the all-in-one checkout plugin for WooCommerce. I'll leave a link in the description below, and with that being said, let's head over to our dashboard. Okay, so assuming you've downloaded the all-in-one checkout plugin, the next step is to go ahead and upload that plugin. So we'll go plugins, add new, go ahead and upload and install the plugin. Once you've done so, you'll see this WooSuite menu here, and then you can just navigate to all-in-one checkout, but we'll get to that in just a second. Before we do anything else, we need to enable account creation via the default WooCommerce settings, and then we'll use the AIO checkout to improve the customer experience. Okay, so let's head over to WooCommerce, and then we'll navigate to settings. Now we'll navigate over to account and privacy. Now we want to enable and disable a few options. So guest checkout, I'm assuming that you don't want customers to place an order without creating an account. Okay, so just leave this unchecked like I've done here. And then it makes sense to allow customers to log in to an account if they're an existing customer, okay, on the checkout page. So we'll enable this option. And then the most important step for this particular video is just make sure we enable this option here where it says allow customers to create an account during the checkout process, okay? And to further streamline the user experience, we can automatically send customers a password reset link. So all they have to do is just enter in their email address, and essentially the account will be created for them, okay? This is all we need to do in terms of configuring our WooCommerce settings. Now we'll go ahead and configure the customer experience. So we'll navigate over to WooSuite and then AIO checkout for all-in-one checkout. Okay, and then next we'll just go ahead and create a new checkout form. Okay, so I'm going to click create new checkout, and with this plugin you can create multiple different checkout forms. Okay, and the idea is you can create different checkout flows for different users. All right, so for the email field, we're going to click this settings icon here, and then we just want to make sure we enable this option where it says login/registration. So what this option will do, so on the checkout page, whenever the user enters in a email address, we'll automatically check your WooCommerce site to see if that email address already exists. And if it does exist, then we'll show the login form. And then if it doesn't exist, we can automatically create an account for them as well. Okay, one thing to note is that with this feature, we're creating an update where you can have it automatically create an account based on the customer selecting a checkbox. Okay, and I'll show you in a second why that would make sense. So for this checkout experience, I want to actually turn this into a multi-step checkout. So the first step is we'll just request that the customer enters in their email address, right? So it's essentially like a login/registration screen. So I'm just going to create a new step here. In fact, I'm going to create two new steps. So let's add another one. Okay, and then for step one, this is where we want our login/registration field. So I'm just going to quickly add a new section. Okay, and then let's go ahead and drag and drop this email field onto this new section. Again, everything will make sense in a second once you see the example. So for the billing details, I'm going to move this to step 2. For the shipping details, I'm also going to move that to step 2. Order summary, let's move that to step 2 as well. Shipping method, step 2. And then now we've just got our new section, which is essentially like our login/registration page, right? So let's go ahead and click on this one. So we've got this login/registration option enabled. And for this step, we can just say welcome, for example. Okay, so we can rename the step. Okay, and then for step 2, we can say, let's click on the settings icon for step 2, and we can say billing. Well, we can say billing and shipping, right? And then for step 3, we can rename this and say payment. So we'll navigate over to design to configure our checkout design. So you can create a custom design if you wanted. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to quickly select one of our predefined layouts here, or you can use your theme default template. Okay, so I'm just going to use this template here, and then we'll navigate over to the thank you page. So for the thank you page, again, you can create a custom thank you page. I'm just going to use one of our predefined thank you pages. And then for the settings, I'm going to enable this checkout form, and I'm going to set this as our global checkout as well. And then we can just give it a name. It's just for internal purposes. For the slug URL, we'll just leave that blank for now. Where it says applies to, we'll leave this as default, which says everyone. We can rename the place order button, and we can say something like complete purchase or something like that, right? And then everything else, I'm just going to leave it as default. Where it says enable address autocomplete, I'll leave a link on screen now to a different video showing you how to utilize that particular function. So let's just hit save changes, and then we'll review our checkout page. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a product to our basket. So let's go ahead and add this particular product here. Okay, and then on our checkout page here, we can see this welcome screen that we created. So now we just need to enter in a email address. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a fake email address. Okay, so it's saying the email address is invalid, which it is. Okay, and now it's automatically created us a account. And then we can just continue placing our order. Okay, we can just go through the steps, fill in our information, and then go ahead and enter in our payment details. Okay, but what I was saying is if we navigate back to the welcome screen, ideally you want to create a terms and condition, a checkbox here, and then only when the customer selects agrees to the terms and condition, obviously in your terms and condition, you'll state that by them entering in the email address and agreeing to the terms and condition, you'll automatically create an account for them. Okay, so as I said, in the next release that we'll do, we'll have that feature where you'll be able to bind the account creation depending on whether the customer agrees to the terms and conditions or not, which makes sense. Okay, so let's get off this screen, and really you should rename this new section here. So we can remove it or we can add a heading, right? But what I was saying regarding the terms and conditions, so what you do is you'll just click this settings icon here, then you'll add a checkbox field onto the page, and then for the label you can say something like I agree to terms and conditions, and then obviously link to your terms and conditions here. And in this email field we'll have a option, right, that whenever you enable this option here, there'll be an additional settings which will basically allow you to bind the account creation to this checkbox field here. Okay, but that's not quite ready yet. It's maybe 80% ready. By the time this video is released, then maybe we'll have it released and ready. Okay, but in my opinion, this is a friction-free way to force your customers to create an account with yourself. So again, it's more beneficial for the customer because all their order information and everything is there in their account. So in the event that they repurchase with yourself, the next shopping experience will be a lot smoother. And then from the store's perspective, let's say the customer agrees to the terms and condition, they enter in their email address, and then on the billing fields, I don't know, maybe they got distracted and didn't quite complete the purchase. Then since you've already got that account created on your store, you can then follow up with that prospect and then hopefully try and encourage them to go ahead and complete that purchase. One more quick tip before I leave is, since we're using our custom checkout design, I'm just going to head back over here to our general settings, and then we just want to add a logo to our checkout. So currently it looks pretty bland. So we'll go ahead and upload a custom logo here. I think I've got any on the system. So I'm going to quickly select a file. So we'll use this image, and then we'll just quickly customize the width. Let's say 80 pixels, for example, and then just hit save. So when we head back over to our checkout page and refresh it, we should be able to see our logo. Okay, so let's quickly do that now. Okay, and here we can see our logo on our checkout page, and we can also customize these links here as well. If you've got any questions, leave it in the comment box below or reach out to support and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.